I'm very excited to teach this class. I've been preparing it for 2 years. And when I want to first share with you the story of how this came about, because I think it's really inspiring, and how I got excited about teaching about Shabbat. It was about, I became Chaver 6 years ago, and probably within my first year of being Chaver, I only knew the basic understanding of Shabbat. Its energy, and whatever was written in those books, in the prayer books, that's all I knew. And one day, I started to announce on Shabbat, and in LA, Michael Berg is the one who's the cantor, the chazan. And I would stand, I would stand on this side, Michael Berg would stand here. And if you've ever seen Michael Berg on Shabbat, he's in another world. He's doing the prayers with his eyes closed. You feel like he's connected to something different. And I would watch him every day, and I realized, whatever he has is what I want, And I wondered, there's no books, virtually no books that really speak about Shabbat in a structured way, detail by detail, everything that happens. And really the only people who knew those secrets were obviously, the Rav and Karen and Yehuda and Michael. And all the secrets are in the books, but no one ever explained them. I went to different teachers, everyone kind of gave me like kind of this answer, that answer. And then I met one teacher, and I begged him. I begged him because he had studied tapes of the Rav that didn't even exist anymore. He studied with the Rav. And I said, I want you to teach me everything you know about Shabbat. And he said, well, there's certain writings, but they're not in English. And I need to study in English. And those are the books of the Ari. It's the Gates of Meditation, Volume 2. And for those of you who know, it's one of the hardest books to translate. So you can't just give it to anybody to translate. So a team of 4 teachers translated this book every day. Took them about 6 months just to get a rough translation of about 100 pages. And it's still actually in the process of being refined. I got the translation, and I sat with him every morning for about an hour and a half, from 5 to 6:30, for about 6 months. And we went through every detail. And I tell you, ever since I started to do that, my understanding, appreciation, and my connection to Shabbat was something beyond anything I can imagine. Like, take all the things you learn in Kabbalah. I gave one of those quotes that it says, if a person just connects to Shabbat, he'll understand and feel as high and powerful as anything else and everything else he does. And when I started to taste that, and I started to see how amazing that was the beginning of the desire to bring this in a way that would be understandable in a class format. And right when I was about to give it in Los Angeles, that's when I moved. And then I moved here, and then I wasn't teaching this class, so we just forgot about it. And then I got push until this moment. And there's so much information, and it's so amazing. I promise you, I want to make it fun, because a lot of this stuff can be, just like text. We want to have, I know someone made fun of me on Shabbat, where I said, it's going to be a really fun class. We're going to have PowerPoint. And people are like, that's your idea of fun. But it's very exciting, because we have some cool people, some people who will work on some cool PowerPoints for us that will make it animation and understanding and practical. And it's going to have advanced reincarnation. So if you've ever taken reincarnation classes, that have a lot to do with it. We'll have 10 luminous emanations from the Rav, which will explain a lot about what happens. And I know it's going to be more than 4 weeks. I know it's going to be more than 4 weeks, but we'll try to put as much in it as possible. Tonight, we're going to talk about the structure of Shabbat from the point of view of the emanations, and what is actually happening to the human soul that a person should be aware of, the benefit that they will receive, and the miracles they can create from it just by knowing and understanding today's class. We're going to talk about next week. We're going to begin with the Friday night connection. Step by step, through every prayer, through every blessing, and understanding the most vital aspects of it. Okay? So, now there's a lot to build on So just bear with me. Okay. This is something Michael Berg once said. I couldn't find where it was taken from, but it was a quote from Rav Ashlag. I paraphrased it. Where Rav Ashlag it's so simple, it's so human what he says. He says, I keep telling everyone that receiving brings a person closer to death. That means that every time I look to receive, and I take anything. If I take for myself alone, my body, my mind, my reality, my relationships, my finance, inches a step closer to death. And he says, no one believes me when I tell them that. And it sounds great intellectually, but if you really think about it, nobody believes, Rav Ashlag, that when I receive, I'm actually disconnecting from the light of the Creator. And it's a huge paradox, by the way, because that's why our brains can't understand it. Wait a minute, I'm designed to receive. Kabbalah means what? To receive. And now you're telling me every time I receive, I'm dying. But if I don't receive, I'm going to die. And sometimes it feels like if I don't get the things I want, I'm also going to die. So what do I do? And that's a paradox. So to be able to understand this in our lives, we're going to review the 4 phases. Raise your hand if you've heard of the 4 phases. Okay. I'm not going to go into it too much, but here's the idea. There's a creator, and the creator wanted to create the vessels of the world. Now the vessel was designed in 4 phases. So how many phases was the vessel designed in? 4 phases. Okay. It starts with the first phase, which is called Chokhmah. If you look at the 10 dimensions, Chokhmah is not the first level. It's the second level. The first level is Keter, and Keter represents the light of the Creator. So the light of the Creator, Keter, is giving to the first phase called Chokhmah. What is Chokhmah? It's called a passive desire to receive. Passive desire to receive. That means that, person comes to, let's say, person first comes to the Kabbalah Center, brand new person, right? Do they have a huge craving for their teacher meetings? Do they have a huge craving for their classes? No, they're interested. It's amazing. When a student first comes and sits with a teacher, it's always fun to watch, actually. They think sometimes they're doing you a favor, sitting there. And, they're like, they get a free meeting to sit with a teacher. And it's like, it's okay, nice. Yeah, he helped me, told me some nice things. But they have no idea. It's like years later, what happens? Like if you really are growing and you're really developing a relationship with your teacher, what happens years later? Do you appreciate it a little bit more? I hope. You're looking at me like, what is he talking about? You appreciate a little bit more. So the first phase is just to give to the vessel. That's why sometimes when you see new people coming to the center, we give them a lot. We give a lot. Because that's what their first phase needs. A student who's been here 20 years may not get that much immediate energy from people. But a new student will get a lot. Why? Because of the 4 phases. They start to receive. Now, what happens when you give someone? Immediately, what's awakened in them? Desire for what? Something happens. If you really give someone love, this is what's amazing. If you really give someone love, they will want to share. Immediately, a desire to share is awakened. So, if you gave someone, and they don't immediately feel they want to give you back, you didn't give them anything. Big rule. You can blame them for not appreciating. You can blame them for not caring, or they're selfish. And sometimes there might be a few of those. But it usually means I didn't give. I didn't really give light. I gave words. I gave what I wanted to give. I gave what was comfortable, but I didn't give light. Here's something amazing the Rav used to teach us. If you ever sat in a meeting with the Rav, or the Rav and Karen, they don't ever tell you an answer to anything. What do the Rav and Karen do? They do so much restriction in the meeting, they reveal light that goes to you, and you walk away saying, I understand. I have clarity. It's about giving people light, not giving people sometimes what we want to give them. It's about giving light. The first phase is chokhmah, and it receives light. And if it's a true giving, it creates a second phase, which is binah, and that is a desire to share. A lot of our class is going to be centered around this second phase, and you're going to see how a lot of Shabbat is focused on the second phase, desire to share. Because this is the first time that the vessel, it says that when the Mashiach comes, the Messiah comes, we go to binah. We don't go to any other realm. We go to binah. Why? Because binah is the first level that has to do with the vessel participating. It's the first time the vessel says, I want something. What do I want? I want to share. It's the first time. Because when the vessel receives, it's not participating. But as soon as it wants to share, it's alive. That's why we always say, binah is the energy storehouse. Binah is the connection we want to make. Binah is the light we want to draw. The highest level ever reached by a human being is who? No, by a human being. Who is the human being? Moses. Anybody know what level Moses was born at? Netzach. That's why in the Yana B'Koach, Moses connects to Netzach. But through his spiritual elevation, he elevated to right below Binah, which is the top of the 7 levels. And that's the highest, because that is the beginning of a truly perfect man or woman. A truly perfect vessel is a person who has a complete desire to share all the time. All the problems we have come from not having a desire to share. Notice how I didn't say sharing. A person who's sharing is on a lower level than a person who has a desire to share. Okay? 1 second. Everything you're going to learn in this class is probably going to refute. Is that a word? Refute? Yeah, refute everything you've learned before. It's going to seem like it's mind-bending. A person who's sharing is on a lower level than a person who has a desire to share. Well, just look at the 4 phases. Because what comes after the desire to share? The actual sharing. Zeir Anpin was created to funnel the light, to share the light. So we know now that a person who has a desire to share actually is more connected to the light than a person who just shares all day. And that's why people who share all day, they get trampled on, they have regrets, they get, what's the word I'm looking for? Resentful. It doesn't work out, they lose. Now I know what you're thinking. Can for my tithing this month, I just have a desire to share? That's one side of the story. Okay? Obviously you know that it's not the full story. Okay? The 4th level, the 4th level is Malchut, and that was created to receive and manifest all the light. Okay? Those are the 4 phases. All right. Zeir Anpin means small face, but forget about the literal translation. Zeir Anpin is just the pipe, and you're going to see why. It's just funneling. Like, imagine, what are those chains people create, when you're passing like bags to people? You take it from one, you hand it to another. You take it from one, you hand it to another. That's all Zeir Anpin is. You take it from one, and you hand it to another. That's it. Binah is the source, Malchut is the receiver, and Zeir Anpin is taking from one, passing to another. That's it. Now, take quick 20 seconds. In your own words, it's very important. Share the concept of the 4 phases very quickly. So the person sitting next to you. Go for it. Shh. Quick question? Quick question to clarify anything? Should we move on? Yes? Okay. I'm sorry? The 3rd phase is called Zeir Anpin. Okay? All right. Let's restrict the question. if it's okay. And I want to create a flow and then we'll... Okay, what is Bina consciousness? When we connect to Shabbat, we connect to Bina consciousness, okay? Now, we need to know what that is. Everything that we do, I'll just give you an understanding. They're going to bring me a flip chart too. From the minute we start Kabbalat Shabbat, which is Friday night, our soul ascends through many levels. We're going to learn them. It goes through a level that's dominated by angels. Then it goes to a level that's dominated by righteous souls. Then it goes to the level before the sin of Adam. Then it goes even higher, to higher levels of consciousness. Then it goes to an area called the 13 attributes. All of these are different lights and different levels of consciousness that have different qualities to them. Bina is the overall energy of Shabbat, and it gives us a certain ability when we connect to it. The first is, the Bina consciousness is I want to share. That means that after a true connection to Shabbat, I should have a desire of I want to share. A desire of I want to share. Also, what else is Bina consciousness? It's good to know. Your soul comes from Bina consciousness. That's the power of my soul. This is important information because I'm going to share with you other things that it's going to tie it all together. The third thing, okay, this is what I already shared with you. Of the upper three levels, Keter, Chochmah, Bina, Bina is the first phase when the vessel is actually involved. And that's why it relates to us, and it holds the vaccination, the cure to every disease that we're looking for. Okay? What is the power of the desire to share? Okay. Okay. Okay? Tell me when you're ready. Yeah. Actually, yeah, right here. These are markers. Okay, I'm going to the next. It's okay. You can also copy from the person next to you. Now, what is the desire to share? Are you ready for this? It's a big secret. It's going to change your life, I think. What does desire to share do? Tell me, maybe you tell me first. What does desire to share actually do? What do you think is the first thing desire to share does?
It awakens a consciousness in you.
If you have a desire to share, a true desire to share, what you will create around you are opportunities for people to receive from you. So let's say you have a company that's just a little bit successful. You want more clients. Before you go to bed, you need to awaken an intense craving to share your product. If you don't have an intense craving to share your product, you will not have vessels to receive your product. The more you're craving, the more vessels are awakened to receive your product. If you have, let's say, craving, your craving is at 50%. Your marketing is at 100%. What level of clients can you receive? 50%. That means you're wasting 50% of your marketing. You're wasting it. All of Rav Ashtal's writings, almost all of them, say the same thing over and over again. That a person needs to stop having a desire to receive and have a desire to share, and all his problems become solved. It's the level of my desire to share that attracts my relationships, love, the right plumbing, right? Think about it. If you want a good plumber, How do you pursue looking for a good plumber? With what? A desire to receive a plumber. So you cannot find a good plumber. Now you might find a good plumber just because the Creator has mercy on you and He wants you to go to the next level. But you want a good doctor, you want a good contractor, you want a good anything, you have to have a desire to receive. A desire to share. You have to say, I want to share so much, but my plumbing is broken, and whatever calculation you make after that, it doesn't matter. But it comes from the desire to share. It's the first thing I learned when I became a chevre. One of the senior teachers told me, what do you want? I want the best student. What's the best student? He's excited, desire all the time, ready to do anything, always looking to share, never thinking about himself. Now, if you think I want the best student, you're not going to ever get the best student. But you have to see how that fits in your desire to share. When you say, okay, I want the best student because that's how I can share my light. How can I share with someone who doesn't have a desire? I want to share. It's a shift in consciousness. All of a sudden, a new reality is formed. And it says that even if there's not a person out there in the world, in the desert, to come receive from you, the Creator will create an angel that will be disguised as a human to come receive from you. And we know many stories from the Bible that are that way. What's the most famous? Abraham. It said that the Creator made it hot, His circumcision, all of these things, and Abraham's still waiting by his door. I want to share, I want to share. The Creator didn't know what to do. It's so hot, no one's walking in the desert. So what did He do? 3 angels disguised as humans came to receive. He created angels just by His desire to share. Can you imagine if Shabbat, in the right connection, gives us the ability to have a desire to share? You create anything you want. Everything is in our power all of a sudden. But most people have a reactive lifestyle. Oh, why not you give me? Why not protection coming from here? Security coming from here? You want to buy my product. Everything becomes reactive and dependent on other people. And it's hard because we think, how can I create something? I have a desire to share. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, immediately now it's receiving. So you're disconnected. Rav Ashlag downloaded all the secrets of creation in how long? In a second. He studied 3 months. That's like someone in class 4 of Kabbalah 2. Can you imagine? Understanding all the secrets of everything in Kabbalah 2? But Rav Ashlag had this desire to share that was so intense. It says not even one drop of blood looked to receive. Everything was in the sharing mode. Even when he went to sleep, you know, it says that he would fall asleep and his hand would keep writing. That's what it would say. That he wanted to share so bad that he allowed one aspect of his body to sleep and his soul would continue to write. And he had arthritis, by the way, just to add to it. You know, I remember seeing the Rav on Rosh Hashanah, standing. You know, the Rav wouldn't, you know how we like move around? The Rav feet planted for like 8 hours. You don't move the feet, just planted for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. And many people don't know because the Rav never shows it. The Rav has had a condition in his legs for many, many, many years. I mean, an extremely painful condition that every time the Rav is standing, it's painful. But the Rav separated 2 parts. There's the desire to receive, you can go do whatever you want. Me, the desire to share, will continue with the service. It's so powerful to separate these 2 aspects of ourselves. That's life. That's happiness. That's fun. That's fun. And that's the gift that we should believe that we can receive slowly. I always give the example of our ears. You know, when a person starts to study Kabbalah, the first thing to shift from a desire to receive to a desire to share is the ears. You know how you know? How do you know? How do you know? Because all of a sudden, within like the first month of studying Kabbalah, you don't want to be around the same friends who drain your energy. You don't want to hear gossip. So your ears started to have a desire to share. The ears changed. Imagine shifting the whole body. You know, we come to Shabbat, and it's amazing because when I learn it too, it makes me realize like how foolish I am. You come with the book, right? What do you do with the book? What do you do with the book? You read it. Why? Because you want to connect to what? So you want to receive light. So you're disconnecting from the light. The person who's praying the whole Shabbat is disconnecting from the light. So now what are you asking me now? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Can you be in two places at the same time? Can you separate desire to receive and desire to share and operate from both levels? What does it mean? It doesn't mean I get my book and I sit in the corner where I love to receive. And I feel connection to God. It's a total lie. It means, and remember, Yehuda Berg, that's why Yehuda Berg prays so fast. When he used to see us in our prayers, he would scream at us. And if you ever see, like, watch sometimes, the senior teachers, they're like this. It's like they're praying the thing they need to do between sharing. And like the Rav, so many stories you hear of the Rav who's praying and he says, this person doesn't know what page we're on. This person doesn't know what's going on. And the Rav is always in the desire to share mode, but he's also keeping his desire to receive because he needs to receive energy from the prayers in order to share. It's so powerful. But the Satan makes us always go back to, I need this, I need that, I need my prayer, I need my light, I need my Shabbat, I need my song, I need my food, I need my seat, I need my table, I need my teacher, I need my answer, I need this, I need. And all of a sudden, the desire to receive wins. So that's the first thing. And you can use this in every aspect of your life. In business, in relationships, I'm sitting in a meeting and I don't know what to tell the person. I have no clue. So what do I think? Tell me what I want No. You have to think, I really want to share. And I know with certainty it's going to come. I really want to share. And it's just a shift in consciousness and everything starts to change. Okay? The desire to share also creates, that's from 10 luminous emanations, by the way. Desire to share also creates an entrance to a merciful reality, okay? And basically everything that you will learn in your life will be through mercy and not through judgment. So as long as I'm looking to share, I can't actually go through judgment. I can't actually go through any pain. That's why when you're going through a challenge, what is the first thing your teacher tells you? Share. Because if you're sharing, hopefully the sharing will awaken a desire to share. Because once you share, what do you want to do then? Then you want to share more and more and more. It's just that initial getting out of bed, that initial overcoming victim consciousness that's really difficult. But after you do it, then you really want to share. And it's the desire to share that creates the mercy, not the sharing. It's very important. The sharing is the tool to get you to have a desire to share. Okay, so go back to the tithing example. Why does a person need to give tithing?
Because it doesn't belong to them.
No, because it doesn't belong to them, 10%, all of that, Kabbalah 1. Why is it good for a person to give tithing? Because hopefully it awakens his desire to share more. And that's his only connection he has to the light. If you do it to receive, so you're disconnecting again. Hopefully, and that's why, so let's say I give tithing, and next month I got to give it again. So what does that mean? So nothing happened. Yes, the Creator will give our funds back, say, okay, try again. Like when you're playing those games in the carnival, and you miss really badly, and it feels bad for you, so okay, try it again, hit it again. So he'll just keep giving you back the same money, okay, try it again. But the ultimate purpose is to get to the place, I want to do it. And now I have a desire to share, so my life changes, I'm connected to the light. Now you can move on to the next thing. But if it's always like, oh, I have to give again, oh, I have to do this again, oh, I have to volunteer again. So, does it make sense? Yeah. There's a much higher level of consciousness. Okay? And the last point, and I'm going to talk about this next week. You start to access angels and tzaddikim, righteous souls. When a person has a desire to share, he starts to attract ibur. He starts to attract angels that support him in his mission. When we do the boi kala, the receiving the extra soul of Friday night, again, it's like such a, the language tricks us. It should be sharing the extra soul. We need to feel, what soul do I need in order to share? That's how you receive the highest soul. When you do poteach et yedecha, again, it's a trick. What's the trick? You know, it needs to be like this. It needs to be like this. Like this. It needs to be not I'm receiving just for a second, just so I can share. It's like a hot potato. I can't hold it. I have to receive it because how else am I going to give it? But I can see some people like this. And like you have a person like choking on something next to him, and he's like, okay. Take 20 seconds, share the concepts with the person next to you. Go for it. Questions? Any questions? Yes, please. What's a good definition of sharing? Okay, that's a great question. What's a good definition of sharing? That's why it gets complicated, because, you know, how do I know what I need to share with this person? It's actually like a very high level to know exactly what a person needs, because only the Creator knows what a person needs. So when I get involved in thinking what I need to give, it's very difficult, and many times I mess up. That's why so much of giving involves restriction, nullifying my ego, and really asking from the Creator. If you want a pure sharing, it's very hard to do. Pure sharing. That's why it has to be a desire to share. A desire to share just means you're constantly begging the Creator, I want to share. And you can't just say, I want to share, and as soon as the opportunity comes, you know, I'm not taking it. But, you know, desire to share just means I want to share. And then you see opportunities that you can just help. Human dignity. Basic human dignity. Making people feel warm. Making people feel good. That's the basic. Then there's higher levels. There's the levels of giving a person consciousness if it's at the right time. Teaching a person, not teaching, I don't like that word, but somehow you feel how you benefit someone. It's not something you can teach. It's something you feel, because when you have a tremendous desire to share, it starts to come to you, you start to feel people. The Rav used to say, you want to read someone's mind? Start to share with them. Start to want to share with them. Start to love them, and you start to read their mind. You start to read their vessel. If we give before we feel their vessel, so we're just giving, we're just taking. When I want to give, their vessel is shown to me, and then I'll know what to give. That's the process. First phase is I want, then I'll feel, then I give. If I start giving, you feel nothing. I want, I feel, I execute. At that point, I don't know what is the thing that we would need to execute. It's what you feel. And go with what you feel. Try that for a little bit. Because once you get to I want to share, and then you feel something and it's not coming from your ego, it's probably coming from a pure place. And if it's not, you're going to learn. You're going to learn what's the right thing, what's the wrong thing. I learn from example. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not exactly sure how to express this, but let me just try. Okay, so if you, let's say that you're sharing a lot, so then the people who you're sharing with, they're receiving whatever it is that you're sharing, and we said at the top that to receive leads one to the road to death. So
okay.
If you're sharing,
I love it. He found the loophole. He found the loophole. What's your name?
Mark.
Okay, Mark said, I'll be sharing all day long. But he's going to receive from me. I'm killing him.
But if he's really receiving, then
Okay.
he wants to share back.
Okay, let's operate on a different level. You can't play semantics with the words. On one level, Our job is not to calculate that they're going to die from obviously, a Kabbalist is very sensitive to what person should receive for their betterment. Yes, it's up to them to have the right consciousness of how to receive. Okay, that comes to a whole other realm of Kabbalah that's called lishma, and it's a whole other aspect. I don't want to get into the receiver. Let's just start with the vessel, and let's just start with the giver, and let's just start with the desire to share. I don't want to go through the steps. I just want to awaken the desire to share, and then you tell me next week how things are different. Don't actually share. Don't actually just jump to share. Just start with a tremendous desire to share, and see how the quality of everything starts to change. Okay? That's what we have to start with. It's a very good question. It's a very good question, and that's why, the hardest thing for a Kabbalist, a true Kabbalist, like what's the restriction of the Rav? To restrict getting angry? To restrict being jealous? For the Rav, the biggest restriction is to not share sometimes. Not to say something that that the Rav sees in 5 years will hurt this person if they don't do, but the Rav knows he can't say it. He can't get involved in the process of the student. Okay? The next concept. I just want to lay the foundation in the beginning. The universe took how many days to build? 7. Why? Binah has a desire to what? Share. It's what we've been saying the whole class. Has a desire to share. What is the purpose of the 6 levels in between? What is the purpose of Zeir and Pin? Do you remember? Transfer. Now, what would happen if Zeir and Pin all of a sudden did this? Oh, very nice. What would happen all of a sudden? We'd have a big problem. So, Binah, it says that before, it's a beautiful analogy. It says that before the creation, the Torah existed 2,000 years before creation. It says that the Torah, the Bible, the 5 books of Moses, existed 2,000 years before creation. Does that make any sense? Why 2,000? What's time? It doesn't make sense logically. 2,000 represents Chokhmah and Binah, 1,000 for each, which means that the Torah is all the energy of Binah. Binah is Chokhmah and Binah together, but let's just say Binah. And what the Torah had a desire to share. The world was created because of the Torah, because the Torah wanted to share, so the world said, okay, here's the world. Now, as soon as the Torah wanted to share, it's very deep, I hope you're following. The Torah wanted to share, what was created? How many days? 6. 6 days. All those 6 days are supposed to do is funnel. That's it. What does it mean? Sunday to Friday. If anybody for 1 second stops the funneling and looks at what they're funneling and says, I want this, it's screwing up the whole plan. That's why from Sunday to Friday, it's all about the work of transformation and not receiving. When I get angry and I want to respond immediately to what happened to me, what am I doing? Do you know, it's so amazing. When a person gets angry, this is what it means. It means there's a new shipment of light coming that needs to be passed on. But the anger means I just stop the shipment right here. That's why I feel so good when I'm angry, or I feel so good when I told the person what's wrong with them. So I stopped the whole shipment. And I took the energy, as opposed to, no, I'm going to restrict my anger. I'm going to restrict my negative thoughts. I'm going to restrict my doubts. Oh no, I have doubts. I have doubts. What should I do? So and it feels good to sit in doubts all day, because it means you're not sharing, you're not taking action, you're not taking risks, you're not pushing through, you're not begging the Creator, you're not doing difficult things. So it's easy just to have doubts all day and say, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And that's where it's so simple. Sunday comes, I wake up in the morning, I got to be a funnel. An opportunity to restrict comes, it means a shipment of light came and I need you to deliver it. I'm not meant to receive. It's not my time. If you're looking for clarity during the week, forget it. Don't look for it. Even if you get clarity on a Monday, what did you just do? You stop the process, restrict. It's so deep. But I wanted the clarity, I finally got it. No, let go of the clarity. Let go. And something better will come. Let go of everything during the week. Don't try to receive during the week. Now, what does it mean? Each one of you understood what it means on your own level. Don't try to... Now, someone hurts you. I was meant to be hurt. I'm not meant to be loved on Sunday to Friday. Let go. I don't want love. Let go. A person's giving me love. Okay, I don't want it. I'll accept it for you. Let me give back quickly. Let me use it quickly. You know, we went to the Zohar. How many people went to the Zohar project in Albany? Right? Now, let's be honest. Long 10 hours, and I felt the same way. 10 hours, passing out Zohars, 4-hour car ride, 4 hours back. What did you want to do? Sleep. Relax. Eat some good food for a good days of spreading light. A good day's work of spreading light of the Creator. Let's receive. And what happens is, the trick is Satan's like, okay, go past your Zohars. When you come back, I'll be waiting. Because our mentality is, I revealed a lot of light, now I can go back to me. So I'm connected to miracles for a good amount of time, and then I go back. Satan doesn't care that we share. Satan just cares that we don't stay there. As long as you come home to him at night, he lets you go do whatever you want. You say, oh, I have the Shabbat class. Oh, the Shabbat class, it's a great class. Go to the Shabbat class. I'll be back at home. He comes home, he's cooking. He's like, how was the class? Oh, it was great. Where's the food? What'd you learn? I learned to share. Oh, I love this desire to share. It's an amazing concept. He doesn't care. And a person can think, when can I relax? Tell me. You've been receiving for 40, 50 years. Have you relaxed? No. Have you ever relaxed for receiving? No. So there's something there. Now, I know people who don't receive or really cut it to a bare minimum, who feel very relaxed. And it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think it ever will make sense to anybody until you just do it. You know? And I tell you, as a chevra, you come in thinking you're going to change the world, it has nothing to do with any of that. There's only one motto in the chevra system. If you receive, you're getting smashed. You're getting quickly shuffled. You sit for a moment, there's a new project. You do something, it's like all the time, moving, until you finally let go and say, you know what, I'm going with it. If you're always looking for your outlet to receive, it never works. And that's the hardest thing, to be in the center. And Yehuda Ashkenazi talked about it in the third meal. The pressure here is so intense, it's impossible that people stay for so long. The people who stay, either they convert it to an intense desire to share, or they found a way to receive. To share and to receive, and Satan says, okay, fine. We'll give them a corner. You know? It's like when you have a corner in the synagogue. You never want to have a corner. If you find yourself always in the same corner, just shuffle, move. Always be on the sharing. And that's so much that you get a high from it. It's a high because you're connecting to Binah. Now, that's what the 6 days of the week are. So what's Shabbat? Shabbat, I wonder what you're thinking. I finally kicked the shoes off, sit down with my family. Not at the Kabbalah Center. Okay? I'm going to go through this quickly. That's what was created in all the days of creation. Now, Adam and Eve were created on what day? 6th day, Yesod. The only problem, Adam and Eve, the sin of Adam and Eve, was that they received before Shabbat came. The Creator said, wait 6 hours, because when Shabbat comes, you can receive for the sake of sharing. If you receive before Shabbat, you are disconnected. That's basically what the sin was. 6 hours. 6 hours. Again, with 6. With 6. Okay? The 7th day, God finished His work from which He had made, and He rested on the 7th day from all His work which He had made. The desire to receive is created, which is called malchut, so that the energy of binah can be revealed. And now, here's where it gets interesting. We were created malchut. We were created, okay. Adam and Eve were born in what level? In what level were they of the 10 dimensions? The level of? Yesod. Very good. Adam and Eve are here. And then Adam sinned. What happened to Adam? He fell. So he fell to malchut. The malchut he fell into is the malchut that when you receive, it's the malchut that doesn't know how to receive, basically. That's why the sin of Adam created a world that any time we try to receive, we find it bouncing off of us. Anytime I try to take, I find myself in chaos. Anytime I'm reactive, I'm in chaos. Every time I'm selfish, I'm in chaos. And it never works out. Adam and Eve created that reality to exist on Shabbat, which is the world of the 1% that we call. That's what Adam and Eve created from their mistake. But the Creator created a different reality in conjunction with that reality. Okay? So there's 2 malchuts. How many malchuts are there? 2. There's the malchut that when we live in, we try to receive, completely doesn't work, and we always find ourselves with less somehow. Then there's another malchut. This malchut is the perfect malchut, and it only exists on Shabbat, and we can only make it part of our DNA with the power of Shabbat. And this is our last concept we're going to learn, which is a very deep concept. It's from also the 10 luminous emanations, and it's called the second Simsum. Can you say second Simsum? Okay, before we get to it, take 20 seconds, share the concept you learned in the last 10 minutes with the person next to you. Go for it. I just got a great question. And I'm sure we're all battling it. I'm battling it. How am I supposed to live? How am I supposed to receive? How am I supposed to enjoy my life? Oh, Kabbalah is restriction, suppression. That's all the opponent. Because when you get to the other side, everything's taken care of for you. It's like trying to explain light. It's like trying to explain light to a blind man. It doesn't make sense until you see it. And you've all seen it at some point. You know, when you were worked so hard here, or you had to push through something, or it was like one sharing, and then you're asked to share again, and share again. You know, it's like when we're sharing, but we know when we're going to leave. You know, like, I'm leaving in an hour. So I'm sharing, yeah, no problem. Because I know I'm going to receive, so I'm cool. But then, that hour comes and they need you for another 2 hours. So you're like, okay, so I'm leaving in 2 hours? Okay, share. The most powerful is when you don't know when you're going to leave. What do?
Keep going anyway.
You just let go. You just enter God mode. Entering God mode is the only sharing that exists. Entering God mode, which means I don't plan on when I'm going to receive. I'm willing to do this forever. It's a really high level of consciousness, but it's the only level that doesn't have chaos. Every other level has some kind of chaos that's waiting. 2 hours, Satan goes 2 hours, okay, I'm waiting in 2 hours. You tell Satan, don't wait. I'm not coming home. I'm not coming home. Satan, what do you mean you're not coming home? I prepared this amazing, what do you mean? I'm not coming home. Where are you going to be? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Very difficult. You come home to your wife. You come home to your kids. If you are sharing and you've already planned on when you're going to receive, you're disconnecting. They don't feel the energy. You're not sharing with the kids. You're not sharing. Who are we sharing? You enter any meeting, you enter any situation, you enter any volunteering. If you're already happy and planning to leave in an hour, there's no energy. There's Satan says, okay, go, do what you need. I'm waiting. Whenever there's a consciousness of I'm even going to receive, it's a disconnection from the light. And it's a lie that I'm not going to be happy. It's a lie. Because if I just keep going, it's just going to keep coming. What's coming? I don't know. That's a lie. Now Satan took off his apron. He's like, wait 1 second. You're not going to be happy. Now he's getting reactive. Just don't listen. Just keep going. Just keep going. When you find yourself in chaos, just keep going. Just keep going. It's not about the chaos. We live in a reality now that there's so much light, you can't deal with darkness. You can only help people with light. Don't even talk about the darkness. Don't even get into a person's tikkun. Just show them how to reveal light. Move next. Every problem is solved by sharing. Next. Never about what's my tikkun, what's my pain, what's my darkness. Never. So the second simsum. I have to go. I already got the warning. You're 5 minutes late warning. Okay, watch this. Oh man, that was a buzzkill. That was a buzzkill. Okay, hold on. It's there, right? Okay, now I don't know. Satan's like, okay, Satan took it already. How do I go back? Yes, I do. Okay, no, it happened. Okay, forget it. Anyways, it was a beautiful animation of how the light comes down, enters the vessel, and the vessel explodes, okay? That's what happens. That's the original Malchut. Something else happened called the second Simsum, which is that Malchut knew that it couldn't receive the way it was. So it started to elevate itself to Binah. This is what happens on Shabbat. And it says it went to Binah, and it had like a spiritual intercourse. And it became sweetened by the energy of Binah. Now what's the energy of Binah? Desire to share. So now you have desire to receive, and you have desire to share. And the balance of this dichotomy can only be solved by the magical and illogical energy of Shabbat. That a person can have a desire to receive and a desire to share and know exactly what to do with both is something that is only downloaded on Shabbat. If a person does not even have a tiny connection to the energy of Shabbat, he will never know how to receive. He will not know even how to share. Everything will be mixed because he will not have connected to the energy of the second Simsum, which occurs on Shabbat. That's why on Shabbat there's a choice to live in the 1% or the 99%. And just because we come to the center does not mean it's an automatic connection. It doesn't mean it's an automatic connection. But what we are going to learn through every prayer, through every connection, I think a whole class should be devoted to just the meals. A whole class on just the Kaddish. What happens in Kaddish is like unbelievable. Like every amen, what does it mean? Everything that people are screaming and no one understands what they're screaming, what does it mean? Like it's so many things. And hopefully we're going to be able to include them all in there. But the next class, we're going to talk about, let me show you the slides. See, that's what I just spoke about. The problem, you don't have to write this down, it's just what I said. Malchut just has desire to receive which results in bread of shame. Solution, second Tzimtzum. The process, Malchut ascends to Binah to acquire the desire to share. During Shabbat, we need to always be understanding I'm receiving a desire to share. I'm receiving a desire to share. And I want to manifest this desire to share. And I'm sharing. And I'm sharing. And I'm looking. I'm not looking at my book. I'm looking around me. I'm not looking at myself. I'm looking around me. I'm not looking at my seat. I'm looking around me. Always a process. The meal comes, always looking around. I'm downloading that energy the whole time. Okay? Two universes exist. 1%, 99%. That's Kabbalah 1, Class 1, if you remember. That's where it came from. Finally, because Shabbat, now you know what Shabbat is. What's Shin? 3-column system, meaning complete connection to the light. What's Bat? The daughter, which is Malchut. The daughter is Malchut. You take the light, which is Binah, and you sweeten Malchut, you have Shabbat. Things to look forward to next week. We're going to talk about the prayers and how every prayer elevates us to another world. In just Mizmor LeDavid, you start to tap into the world of angels. There's a sequence that connects to Cain. And it says that some souls came from Cain. Which souls are that? It's the people that live with their hands. We're going to learn all those things, and you find out where you came from, which verses in the prayers connects to your soul. And when you're connecting, when you're singing, you're going to download that unique energy into your software to become that amazing person that will for sure divorce Satan from his house and be excited about desire to share. And as a result, miracles and wonders. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much.